blows his whistle, and we're underway in the 5th replay at Wembley in an FA Cup final since 1981, and that was a glorious replay between Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. Wednesday attacking the goal to our right, have the ball with Waddle, he plays it in deep, it's a good cross, and Seaman was stretching all the time, but plucks the ball from the air and makes a very secure catch.
Waddle last started on the right side. That was a positive start too by Wednesday. Good early cross, well taken by Seaman. He started well on Saturday, and that's a good start for a goalkeeper. That come out and catch a ball on the edge of his 6-yard box. A little bit damp wet the ball, so it hasn't been easy. That'll have done his confidence the world of good.
BBC Switchboard is having a torrid time this evening. It's being inundated by fans ringing in saying they're stuck in traffic. So I hope you're listening to us on BBC National Radio 5. Arsenal against Sheffield Wednesday in this FA Cup final replay. The ball is with David Seaman, the Arsenal goalkeeper. The penalty area away to our right. He just throws the ball a few yards out of his penalty area. The signs of popping balloons. The balloons let off by the Sheffield Wednesday fans prior to kick-off. Seaman's clearance upfield, hooked out of play by Harks, and it drops on the far side for a throw-in to Arsenal. The half to our right, heavily populated with Arsenal fans as it was on Saturday, but a rather more sparsely populated Wednesday end. Arsenal on the attack, breaks down rather untidily. Dixon's throw to Jensen, and a very careless pass by the Dane, straight out of play, throw into Sheffield Wednesday on the far side. Nigel Worthington, 9 years at Hillsborough, takes the throw towards Bright. It's led back to Harks. Hurst is available on the halfway line. He lays it off. Smith takes it up, but it was a late challenge by Tony Adams, and that will be a free kick. It was well spotted by the referee. Ball had moved away. Wednesday take the free kick quickly, and Jensen was in very quickly on Waddle, but a fair challenge. Merson comes forward for Arsenal, down the near side, the left. Wednesday fans wanted a free kick. Merson still has the ball. He's close to the corner flag. Back to Winterburn. Hesitates before getting the cross in. Leaves it to Merson. Right foot ball played in. Smith jumps. It's headed away by Palmer. Waddle still down injured inside the centre circle. 2 minutes played at Wembley. No score between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. And as Worthington concedes a throw in, Alan Smith sprints on to give Waddle treatment, and the referee is besieged by very angry Sheffield Wednesday players.
Well, I couldn't understand how he didn't give a free kick, but he was right next to the play. To be fair to Mr. Barrett, he was right on top of the play. Jensen, of course, who did a marking job on Saturday, he was the man who was involved here. Waddle turned the ball, took the ball from one side, and Jensen just came in late and knocked him over. It was a late tackle, in my opinion. He was very fortunate, that not only a free kick, that he didn't get a caution. I couldn't understand that, really, but anyway, the referee's given it. Waddle's still lying down.
And the referee's now walking back some 40, 50 yards towards Chris Waddle, prone inside the centre circle, inside their penalty area, because Arsenal have a throw-in. It's just to the right of the Wednesday box. Dixon came forward, then he hesitated. Movement inside that Wednesday penalty area. Dixon throws beyond Campbell, and it's hit away by Warhurst, still wearing that protective strapping on his left wrist, towards the far side, and Waddle, shirt outside his shorts for Sheffield Wednesday, plays it back and takes the return pass down the left side. Linnigan comes across. Waddle cutting in towards the penalty area. Around Linnigan with ease. Is the cross good enough? It's played deep. It's headed down by Winterburn. Shot driven in by Harks, and it rebounds off the wall. Worthington should pick it up for Wednesday. Trying to play it to the near side of the field. Sheridan slips, and noticeably as he slipped on the surface, a sort of spray came up. And another late challenge is coming in from Danny Wilson. And I'm thinking back, Jimmy, to the 1990 FA Cup final replay, Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Then we had a great first game, but the second one deteriorated, really. It was far too aggressive, and this one has started in very aggressive mode.
Referee should stamp his authority. I thought he should have had a word with Wilson then. That was a spillover from the last incident involving Waddle. It's important the referee not just stamps his authority, but shows, he's not going to take any messing.
Bright to Sheridan forward. It takes a kind deflection off Jensen. Bright's in there again. Hurst then runs into an Arsenal player, and Arsenal bring it forward down the far side with Paul Davis, and that's a free kick again. This one conceded by Sheffield Wednesday through David Hurst. So the free kick to Arsenal is a long way from goal, good 40 yards out. Davis is standing there, so too is Lee Dixon. Linnigan and Adams both come up from defence. 5 minutes gone at Wembley. No score between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. Dixon's free kick, right-footed, hooked in. Woods came off his line, then he stopped. And finally, as he saw no one else was going for it, he came forward once more and made the catch.
There was a little bit of hesitancy. I think he thought one of his own defenders was going to head the ball. But it's crucial for the goalkeepers that they get an early touch on this ball when it's damp like this. We've had one from Seaman. That was an important one for Woods. Come out, caught it, he's held on to it, doing the world of good.
That was a handball by David Hurst as the clearance was played upfield by Sheffield Wednesday. So a free kick to Arsenal, 8 yards outside their penalty area, and David Seaman will take it. Seaman himself had a bit of a knock, a back injury on Saturday, but he's recovered, and England will be glad of that for the forthcoming fixtures. Plays it upfield as Seaman. It drops a few yards outside the Wednesday penalty area. Knocked to Nielsen on the near side. Merson was in quickly, puts it out of play. It's a throw into Sheffield Wednesday, and Roland Nielsen, his third major competitive football match in 5 days. Cup final Saturday, World Cup qualifying game last night in which his country, Sweden, beat Austria by 0-0. Flown back by private jet. He takes a throw-in, he wins another throw-in. Or is it a free kick? It's a free kick, actually, he's been awarded. Entirely rather scrappy start to this game. 7 minutes played, no score. Nielsen to take the free kick. Hurst and Bright wait upfield. It's driven down the right touchline. Adams into the cross. Hurst got away from him. Crosses into the penalty area. And Linnigan, with a very important interception, heads it behind for the first corner of the game, and it goes to Sheffield Wednesday.
That was brilliant play by Hurst right on the touchline there. It's a wet ball. It's pouring with rain. Pulled it down on the volley, took it past Adams, who was left for dead. The ball came across Linnigan, who played ever so well on Saturday.
Waddle takes the corner to Wilson, edge of the penalty area. He gets it onto his left foot. His shot hits Linnigan and kindly sort of stunts its progress towards goal. And there's a flag up for offside anyway, and it will be a free kick to Arsenal.
It's a very lively start. I'm sorry about those supporters who are waiting to still get into this ground, but I can tell them it has been a very lively start. We've had 3 free kicks for fouls, but there's a lot of endeavour in the play.
Wednesday fans still arriving at Wembley, some of them still stuck in traffic. There's no score, though. Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. The ball is back with David Seaman, the Arsenal goalkeeper, luminous orange goalkeeping gloves. Throws the ball outside of his penalty area. Still a lot of daylight around, but heavy rain at Wembley Stadium. Quite a contrast to much of the afternoon's weather on Saturday. Now Davis down the far side, right of the Wednesday penalty area. 3 Wednesday defenders around him. One of them is going to win out there, Harks, and then Davis was pulling him back, and it's a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. 8 minutes played. Worthington to take the free kick. He gestures with his right hand to Chris Woods. You stay in your penalty area, I'll deal with this. Hits it short, takes the return pass from Warhurst. Moves a little further upfield. Then he plays it into the back of Ian Wright. And now Kevin Campbell picks it up for Arsenal. Gives it away. Wilson was in quickly with that snap challenge. It goes out of play. And the final touch was Davis's, so it's a Wednesday throw-in. Taken quickly by Harks to Bright. Back to Wilson. Chip forward. Right edge of the penalty area, the Arsenal penalty area. An excellent defensive play by Lee Dixon, heading it back to his England colleague, David Seaman.
I don't think we can expect to see too many long balls beyond defenders tonight, I should say, because the condition is so wet, the ball just runs on towards the goalkeeper, and that's exactly what was likely to have happened then.
It's a long ball played upfield, but well beyond Paul Merson, and now Chris Woods has the ball for Sheffield Wednesday. Wembley less than packed. We knew it would be, but the traffic problems of the M1 have made things a great deal worse, but well short of capacity for this FA Cup final replay. Arsenal 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Waddle down the right side for Wednesday. Jensen's across there. So too is Smith and Winterburn. Winterburn has it. Gives it back to Adams. That was good control play by Arsenal. Now Adams lashes it with rather less control. Upfield. Met by Palmer. He chips it forward. Hurst never left the ground as he headed the ball on. And it skips off the top of his head straight through to David Seaman. 10 minutes played. No score in the FA Cup final replay. Seaman out of his penalty area to Dixon on the far side, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Arsenal right, hooks it forward, met by Sheridan, and Sheridan, who really only came into the game in the second half on Saturday, is making his presence felt early tonight. Gives it back to Woods, early clearance upfield. That was a clumsy challenge by Linnigan on Hurst, who's holding the back of his head, and it's going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. So many stoppages, very little fluency to the play so far in this FA Cup final replay. 11 minutes play. Arsenal 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. You're listening to National Radio 5 on the BBC. Sheeran plays the free kick forward low, helped on into the penalty area. Bright at a half chance, and then Adams tried to hook the clearance. It hit Linnigan and goes behind for a corner.
Well, Sheffield certainly looked the brighter team to me in the first 10 minutes. They've won a couple of corners, they've had a couple of shots, one from Harks, one from Wilson, both blocked. There's a little bit of threat off that free kick there, and Arsenal glad to get it away.
Here's the corner kick from the far side. Wednesday left, hooked in by Sheeran. Seaman catches it, then he drops it, but not to a Wednesday player. He gets a second chance, and he gathers it, and will feel a great deal better about that.
He certainly would. I think you will see, as the match wears on, if this rain persists, particularly Alan, you know, that it will become increasingly difficult for goalkeepers and defenders, you know, that they will play for safety.
Seaman plays it upfield. Smith heads it on. Nielsen meets it. Heads it clear for Sheffield Wednesday. Bright. Back to Wilson. Forward towards Hurst. Across comes Linnigan. Good side foot pass to the near side to Winterburn. And then Arsenal try to build down the left. Winterburn hits it long, but Carlton Palmer runs after it. And then he spots that Woods had hesitated. He thought the goalkeeper was coming. Palmer went after it. Gets it. Gives it infield to Warhurst. Warhurst being harassed by Wright. That's a free kick. I don't think it's anything nasty. He certainly caught him, but he was going for the ball, and rather unnecessarily on this occasion. Referee seems to be talking. You're going to disagree with me now, are you?
I'm going to disagree. I think
he
deliberately tripped him. I think Wright got away with it there. I think he'd actually gone past him, Alan, when Warhurst got the ball, and I think he sort of, I don't know, the temptation was there, and I think he just clicked his heels together.
He plays to win, doesn't he, Ian Wright? Score on Saturday, and the goal that put Arsenal in front for such a long spell. Arsenal have the ball midway inside their own half. Have to be careful, rather. Merson was almost careless. He played it back towards his penalty area. Adams did well, though. Adams plays it upfield to Campbell. The header back to Dixon. Down the right side. Forward to Campbell again. Oh, Worthington thunders in with a challenge. Worthington wins the ball. Campbell's harassing him, and he harassed him into making an error. Now it's played forward. Smith is after it. Nielsen gives the pass back to Woods. Woods directs Nielsen to where he wants him to go. Nielsen didn't do so, so Woods had no option but to play it upfield, lashing it towards the halfway line. Arsenal have it again. Then they give it away. Nielsen to Wilson. Sheridan stretches for the ball. Adams stretched further, wins it for Arsenal. Taken up by Davis. 13 minutes play. No score. Waddle for Wednesday. Hits it upfield. Bright is offside. He's only a matter of half a dozen yards inside the Arsenal half.
One of Arsenal tactics there really came to the fore. Waddle picked the ball up about 15 yards inside his own half. The entire Arsenal back four was running forward. If any ball went behind them, it was going to be either an offside situation or Seaman was going to pick it up easy.
Lovely pass by Waddle to Bright. Down the right side. He played it in early and didn't really give Hurst much of a chance. Arsenal have the ball again through Linnigan. And what about an early comment from our other guest this evening, Brian Marwood?
Yes, certainly at the moment, Sheffield Wednesday look as if they've got the greater desire to win the game.
Mistake in the Wednesday defence. Wright is after it. Woods anticipates well, comes out, makes the save. Sorry to interrupt, Brian.
I think it's quite phenomenal, actually, the tempo of the game. You know, there's a lot being talked about the tiredness of players from Saturday, but I think the tempo of this game, I mean, I can't see this going for the full 90 minutes.
Well, whether it goes beyond the 90 minutes, I think we all hope it doesn't reach penalties. There were a lot of very mixed emotions when Liverpool beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup semi-final last season. Horrific way to go out of the FA Cup, but surely not in a final. Surely not to lose it in a final. Penalty kicks. Waddle steps inside Jensen. He couldn't do that very often. Saturday plays the ball upfield, and this time Hurst is offside, but there wasn't much in it that time. And it's another free kick to Arsenal.
Definitely step up. They all stepped up together, well, virtually all together. Linnigan was the trailing player there, and just for a second I thought Hurst might have timed his run perfectly. If they're going to Arsenal players, they're going to move up all together like that. And in these conditions, you can afford to do it because the ball will run through to the goalkeeper. I think if Sheffield Wednesday players start to run across the line, you know, they just might cause them the odd problem, because Hurst especially, you know, is getting his pace back. He's not back to the sharpness we had earlier in the season, but it is coming back, and he is very strong.
Hurst to Wilson. Palmer. Hurst again. Hooks it long. Harks might reach it. Dixon has to go across. Harks has it. Left of the Arsenal penalty area. Worthington's up from defence. It's played back, though, to Sheridan. 25 yards out. Wide to Harks again. Arsenal have got players back now. Harks on his left foot. Checks onto his right. And Campbell was there waiting for the interception. He clears it upfield. Ian Wright takes it up for Arsenal. Running at the Wednesday defence. It's 5 against 2 for the moment. But there's a man free in the left side. Smith picks out Merson. Merson runs towards the penalty area, into the box. He's got a great chance. He side puts the ball all too weakly straight at Chris Woods. Should have scored.
No, it's a great chance. Great chance, and it all became because Nielsen, what we call in the game, sold himself. He ran across, left Merson wide open, didn't win the tackle. Smith was a very, very experienced player, of course, took his time, played Merson in on the left. And although Sheffield Wednesday got a defender back, Merson actually got through about 8 yards out. He transferred it to his right foot, but it really was a powder puff shot, and Woods saved it quite comfortably.
Hurst for Wednesday. Chips it forward towards Bright. Dixon came across. He committed himself. Makes the clearance, but it rebounds off the chest of Danny Wilson. Oh, my word, that was a terrible challenge by Wilson. That was late on Winterburn. And the referee is quite right to pull Danny Wilson across. All you Wednesday fans who haven't made it to Wembley yet, still stuck in the traffic, stick with us on BBC Radio 5. 17 minutes gone in the first half. Arsenal 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Arsenal close to taking the lead, should have taken the lead through Paul Merson. Great Coca-Cola Cup final, great FA Cup semi-final, but was rather anonymous on the first FA Cup final on Saturday. Wednesday come forward. Bright the layoff to Hurst. It's shipped forward into the penalty area. Harks after it, but it's gone beyond Harks and behind for a goal kick.
Good play by Wednesday, but the chip ball over the top, Alan, has got to be absolutely spot on, in these conditions. Otherwise, it'll just run out of play as it did then. If the ball's played into the feet of players, they can hold it and lay it off, and I think increasingly you'll see more and more of that. But there have been one or two tackles that have been a bit severe. Mr. Barrett's been rather lenient.
Just squirts away on this surface. Have to be very careful. Passes must be perfect. Bright jumps straight into Linnigan. And is the referee finally going to take some action? The Arsenal players certainly want him to produce a yellow card. Bright's being called across. Hurst is going to plead leniency. But Kieran Barrett has awarded the free kick. Andy Linnigan is down injured. And all the other players who are trying to chip in a word or two, needlessly so, are being waved away by Kieran Barrett. And will he produce the first yellow card of this FA Cup final replay? He will.
It's a spillover of events.
Too.
Yes, it's a spillover of events, in the last... He's been around a little bit, and he's suddenly found his niche.
That hold-up must have been about 3 minutes, but play underway again. 21 minutes gone in the first half in this FA Cup final replay. There's no scores yet between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday with a throw-in, deep inside their own half, away in that far corner as we look at it. And Worthington sensibly throws the ball straight into the arms of Chris Woods. Mark Bright and Ian Wright played in that Palace team in the replay 3 years ago. Tonight, on opposing sides, soon they'll go on holiday together. Here is Ian Wright to Merson. Should have scored the first goal, Merson. Now onto his right foot. Down the Arsenal left. Plays a 1-2 with Winterburn. Now it's back to Jensen. Jensen to the far side and Dixon. Arsenal try to build. That pass was short towards Campbell. It was easily intercepted by Nigel Worthington. And we're at the midway point of the first half. We await a goal. Here's Mike Ingham.
Well, I'm pleased to say that I can see a few less red seats away to the left, suggesting there are a few more Sheffield Wednesday supporters here, but maybe still one or two of you on the way to this game. And if you've been with us from the start, you'll have heard us say that the tempo has certainly been heightened and lifted, and certainly there's much more of an edge to the occasion tonight. I just wonder how much of that is desperation with the thought of penalties looming tonight as well. These two sides really getting stuck in again in midfield, and it's with number 14 Paul Davis. Not a lot of time though to dwell on the ball, and Arsenal get it away from a crowded right hand side. They come down the left now with Winterburn just inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Ball back in field now for Jensen, 30 yards out. They keep the move going. Davis has it once more on the edge of the area, sets it up for Dixon. On a poor first touch from Lee Dixon, but he comes in to try and win it back. But John Harkes, the American, is back and he's steaming now. Harkes crosses the halfway line for Sheffield Wednesday, goes down the left-hand side. Bright and Hurst both waiting on the edge of the area, and Waddle's there as well now. Harkes is faced by Paul Davis, lays it square for Sheridan, just inside the area. Sheridan's little chip with his left foot, and it's just wide of the post. That's a goal kick to Arsenal.
Intention was right. The execution, though, was all over the place. Terrific run by Harkes down the left-hand side. Dixon, as you say, Mike, his first touch let him down. Harkes chased all the way back and then ran all of 80 yards. There's one thing about this lad. He's got a terrific engine. He never seems to tire. It must be something they put in the breakfast cereal in the States. I don't know, but he's got a terrific engine. His pass came inside. Sheridan took it onto his left foot. Tried to chip Seaman. Just missed the target.
Andy Linnigan, I noticed, with some cotton wool, still mopping. The blow was on the nose, I think. There's no blood at all around the face. He got a blow in the nose from Mark Bright. And now the ball is with Chris Woods, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. Tunnel end at Wembley, 0-0 in the replay for the FA Cup final between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. Merson now plays the ball and looks for Ian Wright's pace, but just as pacey as Warhurst. Back pass to his goalkeeper Woods. Swept back down towards the centre circle. Linnigan lets it bounce and then gets the ball back inside the Sheffield Wednesday half, and a lovely 1-2 now between Campbell and Smith. It's with Campbell. Palmer comes in with an important challenge to get the ball out of the area. Campbell still tries to cut it back in, and Sheridan's now helping out his defenders to good effect. And the ball is out of play over on the far side. This is the Sheffield Wednesday end, very much so. Not only are they defending that goal, that's where their supporters are housed. It's a throw to Arsenal, about 12 yards from the corner flag. This is the Arsenal right, the far side of the field, and following the throw-in, Lee Dixon's ball in, and in comes Linnigan, and heads it wide, well wide in the end. He took off at the near post, but Chris Woods is untroubled. He's having words with his defenders. He's got a goal kick.
Well, I thought that was a chance. Certainly, it was a lovely move. They worked it out from the throw-in. Wednesday hadn't quite weighed it up. Ball was thrown in, headed down the line by Davis to Dixon. He just knocked it over first time. Linnigan running all the, 20 yards. He got above Wednesday's defence. He was only about 6 yards out, but just couldn't get enough on it. And it's gone past the post.
Well, by now on Saturday we'd had the first goal of the game from Ian Wright of Arsenal, and Arsenal now having to defend with Linnigan. It's a back pass for Seaman. Can't mess about. He hits that one rather too much up in the air. It's still inside his own half. And then as the ball was headed forward by Sheffield Wednesday, David Hurst was yards offside, and that's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. 26 and a half minutes gone in the first half, but quite a long stoppage when Andy Linnigan was injured. And Linnigan now trying to chip the ball, but not high enough. Wilson brings it down for Sheffield Wednesday, and now Waddle playing down the right-hand side in the first half. Pushed off the ball, was he, by Nigel Winterburn. Waddle's gone down for the second time. Referee doesn't want to stop the game. He thought the challenge from Winterburn was okay, and Winterburn's played it through Nielsen's legs. Right now tries to flick it forward for Alan Smith, and Carlton Palmer is needed at the back, and Chris Waddle is going to get attention from physiotherapist Alan Smith, and he's also got a blow on the nose, and Nigel Winterburn's just come along to pat him on the back. No hard feelings, and the game will continue very shortly. Jimmy?
Well, I couldn't say anything wrong with that. I think Waddle was making a meal out of it. I think the ball, he was trying to knock the ball past Winterburn. Winterburn ran across him. If anything, there was a bit of obstruction there. Their elbows were a little bit high, but Waddle went down as though he'd been poleaxed. I don't understand why. Well, I can understand why, but not for the best of intentions.
Throw into Arsenal, down the left. Jensen now wants to spread it wide down the right-hand side. Dixon allows the ball to run on, and now he has the ball at his feet. Attacking right back edge, gets it onto his left foot. In it comes. Smith challenge in the air with Warhurst, but the ball runs through safely to Chris Woods. And Brian Marwood saying before the game tonight that Lee Dixon was one of the key players tonight, and Roland Nielsen of Sheffield Wednesday. And it's down Nielsen's side now, because Merson has the ball for Arsenal, down the left-hand side, near side, edge of the area. Merson tried a very extravagant little flick for Winterburn, who'd made a good run, the fullback. Doesn't work, though, for Arsenal. And now Sheffield Wednesday are caught in possession. That was good play by Kevin Campbell to come back and dispossess John Harkes. And Arsenal having a good period now. Merson, Smith and Jensen. Now with Campbell, who's drifted infield. Ian Wright is trying to time the run. Instead, Dixon comes into the movement down the right-hand side. More good play from Dixon. Pulls it back. Not a good cross, though. Palmer's waiting for that one. Patrolling the penalty area. brings it out of the area now. And Waddle waits down the right. Palmer plays a shorter pass for Nielsen, and now eventually it does come to Waddle, who's getting booed by the Arsenal fans, who thought that he really overindulged himself just a few moments ago when he was pushed by Winterburn. And the ball eventually is out of play down the Wednesday right. Roland Nielsen, wonder how he's feeling having played for Sweden last night in the World Cup. He's just short of the halfway line. He's cleaning the ball. Very soggy pitch after all the rain. And now Wednesday trying to put one or two rare attacking moves together. They've got a bit quiet in the last 5 or 10 minutes, Hurst and Bright. Arsenal have been getting hold of it, but now Wednesday got a free kick. And this is 10 yards or so inside Arsenal's half down the right, near side of the field. John Sheridan, who always likes to be involved with the set pieces, rolls it up.
If you're listening in Europe on 6.195 or 6.18 megahertz and you wish to continue with the FA Cup final replay, you should retune now to 9.41 megahertz.
Left-footed ball in, dangerous, and Harks and Hurst were there, but it skids through in the end to David Seaman on the 6-yard line.
It could have been very dangerous. It was an awkward ball in from Waddle. He out on the right touchline, transferred it back to his left foot, so when he hit it in, it was curling towards Seaman all the time. Harks was the only Wednesday player who was alert to it, and he ran across, just didn't connect on the 6-yard box, and Seaman gratefully, picked the ball up.
Half an hour gone in the cup final replay. 0-0 still between Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday. Two evenly matched sides. It's Arsenal now with the ball in from the right-hand side. And Ian Wright took off there, tried a spectacular shot, but that's offside. And I think we might bring in Brian Marwood again now as we move into the last 15 minutes. Brian played for both of these clubs. How do you see it at the moment, Brian?
Certainly, Sheffield Wednesday held the upper hand for the first 10 minutes, but Arsenal have come back in this game, and as I said beforehand, Mike, I think that the key area is the area that Lee Dixon's now finding himself in the right-hand side. They're getting a tremendous amount of space and room over that side. John Harks is a natural defender. He's covering round into midfield, and it's allowing Lee Dixon to get into those important positions.
And we're not seeing much of Nigel Worthington attacking either down the Sheffield Wednesday left because of that. The ball is out of play down this near side. We sit high above the Royal Box here at Wembley, and one way or the other we will have a winning side going up to that Royal Box a little later tonight to receive the FA Cup, even if it takes the very first ever penalty shootout to decide an FA Cup final. Arsenal now playing it neatly among the defenders. Dixon again, higher ball this time over the top of Worthington, but Palmer was anticipating it well before Campbell could reach it, and the whistle's gone again. Kieran Barrett has given the throw-in. The ball had crossed the line, so it's a throw-in to Arsenal. Exactly halfway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Down the right, the far side. Wright touches it back to Dixon. And now a pass for Campbell, and it's very, very tight there for Kevin Campbell. Dixon seems to want the ball all the time. He's got it once more, works it onto that left foot again, but can't get it past John Sheridan. Likes to do that when he can, Dixon, when he has the time to get it onto the left foot. Out of play, though, it goes, and Arsenal spending quite a lot of time just at the moment inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. But still 0-0. Dixon again. Must have seen more of the ball than anybody else so far in the game. Dixon throws it with plenty of pace. Smith flicks it off for Campbell. Good break here from Campbell. Campbell pulls it back, but Palmer's there once more, stretching to good effect for Sheffield Wednesday, but still Arsenal. Merson tried to find Wright, but Nielsen just reaches out to get that for Sheffield Wednesday. But this is a really good period of play from Arsenal. A high one from Winterburn now. And Worthington has to be careful on the 6-yard line. Hasn't got it away. Merson, he had more time than he thought there. 25 yards out. He thumps that very, very well wide. Nearer the corner flag, to be fair, than the goal. And when they get that back from the mud, it'll be a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
It was a bit ambitious, particularly in these conditions. Struck it well, but it was high and handsome, but Sheffield Wednesday got caught there, not for the first time, off a throw-in. A set play that Arsenal have obviously worked at. And what's happened is on that left flank of Sheffield Wednesday, Harks is chasing back, and Campbell is sort of putting himself between Worthington and Harks, and it's allowing a little bit of freedom for Dixon. And again, a little bit confused. It'd be easier if Worthington, as the back man, says that he will get Campbell.
Smith now looks for Ian Wright, and Wright is going into the area. Woods comes out, and Wright scores for Arsenal. Ian Wright goes through the gap. The Sheffield Wednesday defenders were caught flat. Chris Woods came out, but he couldn't prevent Ian Wright, just like he did on Saturday, from giving Arsenal the lead here. 33 minutes gone in the first half. Ian Wright scores his 30th goal of the season, his 10th in the FA Cup, his 4th in FA Cup finals. It's 1-0 to Arsenal.
Well, it was a great goal, first of all, and it was a lovely touch by Smith. Smith it was who played the first time ball with his left foot, and he put it between Warhurst and Palmer, and for the first time they've been caught. Because I was just thinking to myself, what a great job those two were doing. And Wright just had too much pace, and he ran across the play, coming in from the left, and it cut the central defenders out. And as Woods came out, it was a lovely little deft touch over the top of him to put it into the goal. It was a top-class goal. That the conditions helped him, but it was a good pass and a good finish.
And Ian Wright goes down in the history books because that was the 200th goal scored in FA Cup finals at Wembley. In the 70-year history of FA Cup finals at Wembley, but now Sheffield Wednesday a goal behind again to Ian Wright. They come forward, as they have to do now. And the shot came in, and it comes out now to Danny Wilson. Wednesday try to keep their shape, and it's with Chris Waddle down the right. Waddle holds two Arsenal players to beat, and this will be tight now for Wednesday. The ball in from Waddle, headed away by Arsenal. And Arsenal are going to be very, very hard to penetrate now. They're on their way, perhaps, to creating a unique double in cup football. Both cups in one season. Sheffield Wednesday now have to show their mettle. And the ball once more, they look for Waddle down the right-hand side. Waddle has the ball on his left foot. Little dink ball into the near post, not strong enough. Davis is there for Arsenal, and it's away by Nigel Winterburn. Ian Wright does it again for the Gunners. And there's a lovely ball now from the left-hand side to set up Kevin Campbell down the Arsenal right. Strong running now from Campbell, making ground very, very quickly. The blue and white stripes give it away. Alan Smith in the area, tries a little chip, and it's not going to come down for him. That's a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday. Let's hear about the Ian Wright goal from Brian Marwood.
Well, you don't give Ian Wright those sort of chances. Sheffield Wednesday look very, very square at the back, certainly with the pace of Paul Warhurst. I don't know whether he's trying to compensate for that, but Ian Wright, once he gets his nose in front of defenders, then there's no stopping him. He took it superbly well. And looking at certainly the central defensive positions of Sheffield Wednesday, they're absolutely all over the place at the moment.
Well, the last time there was an FA Cup final replay, Ian Wright was involved and lost with Crystal Palace against Manchester United. Tonight he's given Arsenal the lead. It's with Sheffield Wednesday and Roland Nielsen. Wednesday trying to combine down the right-hand side, but Adams is playing massively at the back for his team. There's a very late challenge in the meantime on Ian Wright as Arsenal try and break down the left-hand side. Referee's played advantage. Gary Lewin wants to come on to treat Ian Wright. Sheffield Wednesday under pressure, clear from Carlton Palmer, and eventually Adams heads that ball out of play so that Ian Wright can receive attention. Remember, he's had that broken toe. He's playing with a lot of padding to try and ease the pain. He's now getting that attention, but
that put right through. And then it was a really good finish, in my opinion. It was a really top-class finish.
So Alan Smith is repaying the confidence shown in him by George Graham. He was the man that flicked it on for Ian Wright, but Sheffield Wednesday now try to respond. Chris Waddle, ball in, that should be headed away by Dixon. Only just out of the area. Bright coming in with a strong challenge, and it's a bit messy from Sheffield Wednesday. All a little bit too eager and urgent there. And David Seaman has the goal kick for Arsenal. So just to underline Ian Wright again, he's now scored 4 goals in FA Cup finals. He's now just one short of Ian Rush's record of 5 for Liverpool. And there's still time for him tonight to make it. We've got 7 minutes left in the first half. All the Arsenal fans away to the right are singing and waving their red and white flags. They sense victory. Sheffield Wednesday, though, you can be sure, will not take this lying down. The ball is with David Hurst. Immediately the red and white shirts come in to surround David Hurst, and Arsenal get it back inside the Wednesday half. Warhurst, the man who was caught out Ian Wright's great pace going down the centre. Woods came out, but Ian Wright just slipped it neatly past his England teammate. Wednesday need to get hold of this now with Bright. Bright pushed off the ball by Jensen. That's a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. And they need to take their time here and not do things too hurriedly. They need to really find some composure. Sheridan's kick, and he was unlucky because he slipped as soon as he took the kick, and as a result it's gone straight to Arsenal, and Campbell is back inside his own half getting in trouble. There's only Bright on his own though outside the Arsenal penalty area, and he can't get hold of it against Tony Adams, and the ball once more is with the Arsenal goalkeeper.
Sheffield Wednesday have just lost it for the moment. Ironically, they were doing very well, I thought, up to that foul by Bright on Linnigan. It seemed to break the continuity of their play. Everything was going smoothly for them. They hadn't got a goal. And Arsenal were threatening to get one or two things together.
Now Campbell once more for Arsenal. Inside the area. Good tackle by Carlton Palmer. Campbell coming in again to try and dispossess Nigel Worthington. Palmer's injured now inside the penalty area. We're going to have a lot of time to be added on here by Kieran Barrett. An injury to Carlton Palmer. Alan Smith will get there as quickly as Alan Smith can. There's also another problem with Ian Wright. Gary Lewin coming on, so we can just take still, I think, one or two people on the motorway listening to us and won't be enjoying the scoreline. Arsenal leading 1-0, a throw in, and Smith is there almost, side netting. Dixon's throw was flicked on. Alan Smith was there at the near post, hit it quickly and hits the side netting, and that could have been 2-0 to Arsenal.
They're getting themselves in all kinds of tangles off throw-ins, although I must give full marks to George Graham or whoever is handling the throw-ins. That's the third time that Wednesday's defence on the left side has been caught off a throw-in. That was a simple one. Dixon threw it in, Campbell flicked it on, Smith was just beyond the near post and he flicked it into the side netting, and I saw Smithy there, he put his hands on his head, so he must have thought that was a chance.
Looked like one, didn't it? Paul Warhurst now has a free kick for Sheffield Wednesday. In the centre circle, Wednesday playing from left to right and not threatening very much. Now, long kick downfield from Warhurst, headed away by Linnigan for Arsenal. Jensen rolls the ball down the Arsenal left. This is the near side of the field. Merson attacking Roland Nielsen, goes inside and then out. Good play here by Merson. Now infield for John Jensen. 25 yards away from Chris Woods' goal. Rolls it across as he often does to Dixon down the right-hand side. The ball coming in from Dixon behind Alan Smith. And Arsenal really up for it at the moment. Win another tackle with Linnigan. Still they press down the right-hand side, forcing Worthington back. And the ball evidently crossed the line. And Arsenal have a throw 20 yards or so away from the corner flag. And it's with Lee Dixon, who really has spent much more time inside the Sheffield Wednesday half than inside his own half. A Dixon throw for Arsenal down the right-hand side. They lead 1-0. The goal from Ian Wright. The ball is with Dixon. High ball into the area. Headed to this near side by Nielsen. Kept in play by Chris Waddle. And then Waddle hits the long pass up to the halfway line. Good control from Mark Bright, but Adams comes in. Bright still holds it, and then he runs into trouble. And Arsenal sweep it away from Mark Bright and play good football once more down the centre. Good one-touch stuff from Arsenal. The ball will surely cross the line now. It does for a throw-in. And a throw to Sheffield Wednesday, who just cannot get hold of things in midfield. Sheridan and Wilson against Davis and Jensen. Certainly the men in red and white winning that battle. Chris Woods now, 10 yards out of his area. Hits it down the centre. Hurst glances it on. Away from Mark Bright, though. Winterburn, the left back, brings it under control. Runs with the ball. Keeps his composure and balance nicely. And then eventually it's sliced by Alan Smith out of play for a Sheffield throw just inside the much pointing going on by Stuart Houston and George Graham now, the Arsenal management duo. Happy with the scoreline of 1-0. A spot of defending to do, though, now. And Worthington does it, and then he's caught late by David Hurst. And that's going to be an Arsenal free kick, I think. Just a couple of yards in from the touchline. They're going to leave it to the goalkeeper, David Seaman. And we have less than a minute of normal time to go, but I would reckon on maybe 4 or 5 minutes of added time. Certainly the game stopped for 2 or 3 minutes when Andy Linnigan was injured. A word from the referee to David Hurst before the free kick is taken by Seaman. Right-footed. Seaman gets good distance into the Sheffield Wednesday half. Palmer beats Smith in the air. The ball is loose in midfield. And there's an injury now. Jensen's caught one of the Wednesday players. And Dixon's given it away over on the far side. Wednesday down to 10 men, but they have the ball with Worthington on the halfway line. Has to check because Campbell comes in with a good challenge. And then Danny Wilson, I almost think he was trying to get that out of play so that they could get the physiotherapist on, but he couldn't even find touch. And now Arsenal will do that for them. That's good sportsmanship by Lee Dixon, so that the attention come on. I think it might be John Harks who's got the injury. Carlton Palmer is going to have words with John Jensen. He obviously thought Jensen was late there with the challenge, which led to the injury. The game boils up. Able to identify with Dixon wearing the number 2 shirt at Wembley and playing in the manner that Jimmy used to for England many times in the stadium. The ball is back sportingly from Sheffield Wednesday to Arsenal, but he's having a very effective night using the space down the Arsenal right. He can be pleased with his first half's work. Now Seaman down the centre, headed on by Campbell. That should be Chris Woods' ball. It is. He picks it up. He hasn't been challenged. and he clears quickly downfield, but Linnigan's in position. Not a good header, though. Pounced on by Harkes. Now, Harkes seems to have recovered from that injury, but he's got two Arsenal players immediately swarming around him, and he can't go past them, and indeed he hasn't even got the throw-in out of it. And who's going to take the throw? That man Dixon once more, as Chris Bart-Williams and Graham Hyde, the two Sheffield Wednesday substitutes, just loosen up. But we've played now nearly 3 minutes of added time in the first half, and Arsenal are leading by 1-0. Ian Wright has scored his 30th goal of a marvellous season. He tries to dazzle again on the halfway line, but there are lots of Sheffield Wednesday players there this time. The blue and white stripes. Campbell's back, not for the first time, helping out his defenders, though. And Arsenal very definitely in control. Sheffield Wednesday have a free kick, though. Winterburn's been hauled off the ball by Campbell. Not much time, though, to go in the first half at Wembley in the FA Cup final replay. A free kick to Sheffield Wednesday down the left-hand side of the field. Sheridan's going to take this. Waddle, Hurst, Brighton, Harkes all in a line inside the penalty area. Lots of Arsenal defenders come back. They take the free kick short. Back again with Sheridan now. Scooped in by Sheridan. Clear header away by Tony Adams. Palmer is inside the Arsenal half and lays it down the right-hand side, near side for Nielsen. Nielsen, we haven't seen much of him as an attacking force, and he's having problems. He's lost it. Merson now slides the ball infield. Quick release from Jensen. This time he doesn't get it right at all, though, to the far side. Not even Lee Dixon was in that advanced position. And Worthington all on his own now can get hold of the possession for Sheffield Wednesday. 4 minutes of added time played in the first half. And still Worthington. Worthington now accurately for Mark Bright. Linnigan's going across with Bright, who has to part with it quickly. Sheffield Wednesday, good flick from Hurst. Sheridan falls under the challenge from Davis on the edge of the area. Arsenal a bit reckless. Wilson, it's a bit short for Chris Waddle. Away by Arsenal. Wednesday, though, swing it down the right once more. Waddle does well to get it. Keeps it in just. Waddle goes past Winterburn, but Jensen, they always have a second man to help out Arsenal, but Wednesday win a rare corner. 4.5 minutes of added time. They've got a corner kick, their third of the first half. Hardly time to take it. They've got an injury, but Chris Waddle's going to take the corner. It's short with Carlton Palmer. Arsenal lead 1-0. Palmer gets the ball onto his left foot, looks for Harkes at the far post, and it's glanced away by Tony Adams, and the clearance completed by Lee Dixon. It's back inside the Wednesday half, and Worthington gets it onto his tried and trusted left foot once more. Gets a good pass for Bright, but Wednesday not putting enough passes together on the edge of the area, and now the flag's gone up because there was a wild kick out by Lee Dixon, on Lee Dixon rather. Dixon's fallen to the floor, and I don't know how many times we've had the physiotherapist on in the first half. We're going to have Gary Lewin on, I think, soon, because Dixon's taken that knock badly. David Seaman is just standing over him, and now here comes the message for Gary Lewin to come on. 5.5 minutes gone in added time in the first half. Still the game continues. It's about 10-9. We're still in the first half.
First part of the match, they came out full of running, full of enterprise, a few ideas. They looked as though they were going to turn Arsenal's defence, but I don't know, this back four, they are very strong, very resilient. They held on when the pressure was on. And they're the people who gradually got Arsenal back into the swing of things. They're used to playing this way. A lot of people say it's part of the game. Defending is part of the game, a crucial part of the game.
Oh, I must congratulate Brian Marwood. That was the best impersonation of Jimmy Arfield I've ever heard. We'll be hearing from Brian in just a moment, because it's almost half. I say just a moment. We've played nearly 7 minutes of added time now in the first half, and the ball is with the team who have the problem, Sheffield Wednesday, and they've given it away on the halfway line. They've got it back again. Ian Wright's tumbled over, looking injured again. Sheffield Wednesday is scrambling for it in midfield against Jensen. The referee inevitably blows his whistle. He's given the free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. He points to the right. Not much time, I think, to take this. Sheridan's kick. Wednesday now release Worthington. Worthington fires it into the near post. And that's the first time, really, we've seen Nigel Worthington going forward adventurously, trying to help out Harkes down the left-hand side. And still this first half continues at damp Wembley. No, it doesn't. That's the half-time whistle eventually from Kieran Barrett. Trevor Francis is sprinting, and so too is Richie Barker. They have to get to that dressing room as quickly as they can to try and sort this Sheffield Wednesday side out, because as both Jimmy Armfield and Brian Marwood have been saying in the first half, the problem's really all with Sheffield Wednesday at half-time. Ian Wright scored the goal, and I suppose, Jim, it could even be worse for Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Arsenal have had a couple of other chances.
Certainly one off a throw-in that Smith, put into the side netting. But I was looking down the substitutes, Mike. If things don't improve, they've got a bit of a problem there. They've got two midfield players, Wednesday, Hyde and Bart Williams. I would have thought King, might have been an alternative really as a substitute today. And they must have considered him, so they could have pushed Worthington further forward, to try and get a few left foot balls in. But at the moment, we've got Palmer, and they're missing him in centre midfield. I have no doubt whatsoever that is the problem with Sheffield Wednesday. When things aren't going well, Palmer's the man who can, with his forward runs, who can sort things out. Wilson does not get forward to the same extent that Palmer does, and consequently there isn't the threat to Arsenal's back four. They look confident, they're facing the game, and I think George Graham will be smiling at half-time. All the problems are with Wednesday.
Blue and white striped shirts, black shorts and blue stockings. The teams, first of all Arsenal, Seaman in goal. The defenders Dixon, Adams, Linnigan and Winterburn. Then in midfield, as a shot comes in from Harks, well wide of goal, didn't really threaten David Seaman. In midfield, Campbell, Jensen, Davis and Merson. The strikers, Smith and Wright. That goal, his 30th of the season, takes him ahead of Teddy Sheringham to become the Premier League's leading goal scorer in all competitions, that is. Now Sheffield Wednesday, their goalkeeper Woods, the defenders Nielsen, Palmer, Warhurst and Worthington. The midfield, Waddle, Wilson, Sheridan and Harks. The strikers, Hurst and Bright. Smith heads the ball on for Arsenal. Wright seemed to pull Warhurst back, but it was cleared anyway on the far side by Nielsen. Wednesday in possession and another free kick. This time for a foul by Alan Smith on Carlton Palmer. It's obstruction. So the free kick inside the centre circle, a few yards short of the halfway line. Warhurst hits it to the far side to Nielsen. A few stray blue and white balloons come onto the pitch. Now Nielsen switches the line of the attack down to the left side to Worthington. Worthington ran into a blind alley there, and it's cleared by Arsenal. It goes out of play near side of the field. Throw in to Arsenal. Dixon, who had a mightily impressive first half, but I suppose given that challenge, that very crude challenge by John Sheridan, after 50 minutes, well, Dixon's rather fortunate he's playing after half-time. Sorry, Jim.
I half expected Wednesday. One tactical change you could try without changing the players on is you could push Worthington forward to left midfield and put Harks to left full back. We haven't had a lot of constructive play from Harks going forward. Worthington is a left-footed player. It would at least give them an alternative.
Worthington hits it with his right foot there and just confirms what Jimmy Armfield said. He hits it straight out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Arsenal. We played 2 minutes in the second half. Arsenal, already winners of the Coca-Cola Cup, lead Sheffield Wednesday in this FA Cup final replay. The throw-in is level with the edge of the Wednesday penalty area. That tactic down the right side proved very dangerous for Wednesday throughout the first half. Dixon throws it to Smith, who's led the line so well. Back to Dixon, and then the tackle comes in from Sheridan. It's another throw-in to Arsenal, and this one rather nearer the corner flag. Dixon fancies that he can reach the penalty area. Linnigan comes up. Smith waits. Wright is there, so too is Campbell. Here comes Dixon, throws it onto the head of Worthington, and Worthington clears towards the halfway line. Adams heads it back to Dixon. Dixon curls it forward left-footed. Again, it's headed away by Worthington. Harks scoops it clear with his left foot. Dixon picks it up once more, heavily involved, and then Harks is late on Dixon. Dixon wasn't hurt by the challenge because he viewed the American like a high hurdle and jumped over him.
Yes, good job. I think the point is, though, Alan, down this left side, Wednesday don't look secure to me at all. And if I were Trevor Francis, I would have really worked on that at half-time.
Dixon's free kick for Arsenal. Hit in right-footed. Wilson heads it away, not too effectively. Straight to Merson. Back to Winterburn, midway inside the half. Forward to Merson. That was a good ball. Wide it goes to Ian Wright on the far side. The Arsenal left. He's faced by Nielsen. He gets the cross in. Straight into the arms of Woods, though. Woods just waits and then launches the ball with his right hand to the near side, and Worthington, aware that Smith was only a couple of yards away, took his eye off the ball, and it skips away out of play for a throw into Arsenal.
One thing Arsenal have done, particularly since the goal, is close Sheffield Wednesday's defenders down very well. They're not giving them time to play. That was a typical example there. Smith in particular has worked overtime.
Right to Dixon. Inches in from the near touchline. The Arsenal right. Forward to Smith. Back it goes towards Dixon. Dixon has to retreat a few yards, though, before he picks up possession. He gives it to Linnigan, who is a cut nose, by the way, after that elbow in the face from Mark Bright early in the first half. Arsenal play it forward through Adams, taken on the chest by Campbell. He's had a good first half, playing right side in midfield. Back to Dixon, forward to Smith, always available, and across comes Carlton Palmer. He claims he played it off Smith, but he didn't, and it's going to be another throw-in to Arsenal. 10 yards from the corner flag, down the Arsenal right. 5 minutes gone since half-time. Arsenal 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Delayed kick-off at Wembley Stadium. Delayed 8 o'clock to try to allow the Sheffield Wednesday fans to get here. They're not enjoying this so far. Arsenal attack again. Merson with a half chance. He's blocked by Warhurst. And Merson, I thought, was going to get the corner. Instead, it's a goal kick.
Yes, it looked as though it had been blocked. It was a lovely move. It was started by Smith again. And the problems, they haven't changed for Wednesday. There's no visible change of tactic at all. It's just as though, Trevor Francis has asked to provide a bit more from each of his players. There's no transfer, of midfield players or anything like that.
Getting more from the fans, the Sheffield Wednesday fans. They're the one making all the noise at the moment. The side is a free kick. It's a foot to the right and slightly ahead of the centre spot. Warhurst plays it simply forward to Sheridan, 35 yards from goal. Play to the left, Worthington, the Ulsterman. Now he feeds Harks, close to the corner flag. Davis across, he blocked the challenge, and that's a corner, says the referee. Sheffield Wednesday's fourth of this game. 6 minutes gone since half-time. Wednesday a goal down. They equalised on Saturday in the second half. They need another equaliser now. Sheridan, his shirt outside the front of his shorts, prepares to take this corner, right-footed, curling in towards Seaman, and Seaman went to meet it, and he wasn't too sure of the angle, but it was clutched to his chest. Then he gives it away. Dreadful clearance from the Arsenal goalkeeper. Played back into the penalty area. Was there a handball by Adams? Well, there were appeals on the far side, not surprisingly, from Sheffield Wednesday fans. The referee ignored them. It was too far away to be certain, as far as we're concerned. And Wednesday have the ball, though, inside the centre circle. Waddle beginning to drift, gives it to Worthington. Waddle sprints down the left side. Worthington must play it back. Oh, he hesitated. And there's Campbell running back, easily dispossesses him. Campbell forward to Smith, back to Dixon. Dixon down the right side, turns, almost leaves the ball behind. He's aware that Waddle's close by. And now finally the 40-yard pass back to David Seaman.
Got a bit of heart for Wednesday there. One or two passes put together well, and it looked promising really until Worthington coming forward delayed. The full marks to Campbell. He chased him 40 yards back to take the ball off him.
Harks to Bright, good layoff to Waddle, chip forward to Bright again, close to this near touchline, in it goes, but behind Chris Waddle. Arsenal bring it away, then Davis shows too much of the ball. Bright is leaning on the defender, and Wednesday are scrapping for possession, but it's a scrappy game. Terribly untidy. Another player is down injured. It's John Jensen. Perhaps there's a moral justice in that. Jensen involved in the hurting players in the first half. Now, Wednesday come forward again. Another tackle comes in. Another Wednesday player goes down. The referee allows play to continue. Warhurst it was, up from defence. He'll come forward now a lot more, you'll see. Warhurst, 18 goals this season, 5 in the FA Cup. But Arsenal have the ball, and Wednesday retreat on the defence. Campbell comes forward, right to his right. Smith waiting in the penalty area for the cross. Oh, Wright didn't hit it at all well. He slipped as he tried to play the ball in, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And Warhurst it is. He's clutching his left wrist, and that's the one, of course, that he has the injury with. And that would not be good news for Wednesday.
Certainly can't afford to lose him at this time. It's what he was. He pushed the ball just a little bit too far forward. I think it was Adams who came in with the challenge. It was very difficult for me to...
Game as broken up as this one has been. Arsenal lead by a goal to nil. Another free kick. Referee spotted. Few yards inside the Arsenal half. Wednesday want to take it quickly. We played 10 minutes since the second half. Sheridan forward to Waddle. Immediately he's hustled out of it. Arsenal have the ball. Then they give it away. Straight to Sheridan. Worthington down the near side. Forward it goes. Hurst has it. Hurst trying to play it forward. Bright needs support. Lays it up. back towards Wilson running in, and then Wilson runs into Adams. Adams stabs it away. Campbell has it. Wright breaks from the defender. Ian Wright is through. If he scores a second goal now, it's all over. No, he doesn't, because he took it wide, and in the end the shot played in, comfortably saved by Woods.
Certainly a chance. Campbell fed Wright down the left-hand side. He just took the angle away. It was the angle that got caught with there. It was a simple ball. If he'd have taken it, but he just didn't control it, and I think he tried to chip it in the end.
Unlike the goal, he didn't run across the defenders then. He gave them the chance. He went wide, and they got back. The angle far too acute, really, for a serious goal chance. It's still Arsenal 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5. This FA Cup final replay from Wembley Stadium, 8 o'clock kickoff. It was meant to start at 7:30, but traffic delays delayed the kickoff. Wednesday play it forward down the right side, and immediately it's cleared by Adams into the Wednesday half. Carlton Palmer being forced to play as a central defender, now moves up into midfield, flicks the ball to his left to Worthington, who tees up the cross. It wasn't well hit. The delivery from the wings has been very poor from Wednesday tonight. They get another chance, this time down the right flank. Nielsen just checked, being harassed by Smith. Still the harassment continues. Nielsen gives it back to Sheridan. Lovely cheeky pass from the Irishman. Sheridan to Nielsen. Forward to Bright. Few yards outside the penalty area. Now Harks inside the box. Checks on the ball. Right-footed. Oh, took entirely the wrong option. It was a curl back pass to Seaman.
It was excellent play by Nielsen there. He certainly didn't look anything like tired to me. He had a good run. He fed the ball out well. But Harks, I don't know what he was even trying there. He cut inside, of course, on his favourite right foot. I thought he was going to try and have a shot, but I think he tried to chip it, but all he did was chip it straight into the arms of Seaman.
The attendance, 62,267. That's a couple of hundred more than watched the replay between Chelsea and Leeds in 1970. But that was Old Trafford. This is Wembley. That's the lowest cup final attendance replay or main game at Wembley in, 70 years. And we all know why. So many Sheffield Wednesday fans simply couldn't afford it. Waddle plays the ball forward for the Yorkshire side. Hurst is after it. He seemed to catch the defender. Adams got on with the job. Clears towards the halfway line. Smith the layoff to Campbell. Campbell picks out Merson. Winterburn's available too down the left side. Hits it long. Ian Wright after it. But the defender has plenty of time, Warhurst, to get the ball back to Woods. First time clearance from the England goalkeeper. Drops on the halfway line to Bright, who somewhat uncomfortably retains possession. Gives it to the left to Worthington. Now Sheridan. Better football from Wednesday. Harks forward. Oh, optimistic rather than definitive pass. But he gets a second chance. And then the flag is up for offside. And Adams, with that familiar gesture, right arm aloft, pointing to the sky as if, come on, linesman. Gets the right response from the linesman.
Well, he made no difference because Bright didn't control the ball anyway, but there was certainly a bit of promise again from Wednesday there. More than anything else, it must be heartening that they are getting one or two passes together.
14 minutes played since half-time. Arsenal 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Good control by Smith. Then he's tackled and fouled by Worthington. Yet another stoppage. A free kick to Arsenal in a perilous position for Sheffield Wednesday. It's just a couple of yards from the edge of their penalty area. The one sign of relief for Wednesday is that it's well to the right of their box. So it'll take a very acutely angled shot to trouble Wood's goal immediately. It's more likely, it seems, that it's a cross from either Davis or Dixon. Dixon moves away. Davis to take the free kick, plays it in, headed up and away by Warhurst, met by Dixon. That was a lovely side foot pass to Davis, but Davis is offside as Wednesday pushed out, and then Davis wants to run away with the ball. Wednesday want the ball off him. That's dissent, that's a booking. Ian Wright gets involved. Danny Wilson and Ian Wright shape up to each other. That's just indicative of what a scrappy, ill-tempered affair it's been.
Well, I don't know why Davis did that, really. I mean, it's a silly way to get yourself booked. You know, all it was a free kick for offside, and Wednesday wanted to take it quickly, and he starts dribbling the ball away. He deserves to get booked.
Brian Marwood, what are your thoughts on this opening quarter of an hour in the second half?
You know, and I'm just looking around and seeing where sort of Sheffield Wednesday are going to get back in the game, and I'm looking at Chris Waddle, and he looks increasingly frustrated now. He's trying to play wide on the right, he hasn't got the ball, he's come inside, he's found himself surrounded by 2 or 3 Arsenal players. He's finding it very difficult at the moment. I think what they do miss is somebody of sort of Carlton Palmer making those runs from midfield, because at the moment they just aren't getting men forward, and they certainly aren't getting people in the box.
Trouble is, of course, that the 2 substitutes have got Graham Hyde and Chris Williams aren't exactly ideal central defenders, so the option of pushing Palmer up in the midfield, Jimmy, doesn't seem to present itself.
Well, the injury to Shirtliff, Pearson, as well, it's given France a terrible problem.
And here come Arsenal again. In right after the ball. Warhurst is as quick. Gets it back to Woods. Woods clears to the halfway line. Waddle jumps and heads it straight to Paul Davis. Waddle's a second chance to get it back. No, instead Davis finds Jensen. Now Winterburn. Merson on the far side. Arsenal left. Back to the full-back Winterburn. Chip forward. Smith stayed onside. Goes to meet it. Tries to hook it over his shoulder towards right, but Wednesday should clear. Waddle drives the ball forward. Mark Bright after it and won't get there. It's through into the penalty area. Through to David Seaman.
Arsenal's back 4 look very secure. They have done from the start for me. They did on Saturday. Still not disturbing them enough. I still think, they're going to have to try something Wednesday very soon.
Well, we'll see if they've going to make a change Wednesday. Or we're going to have a substitution. We are. Well, Graham Hyde's coming on, and it's Danny Wilson who's coming off, and presumably that's a straight midfield swap. Linesman drawing the attention of the referee, and the substitution is made. 17 minutes played in the second half. Graham Hyde comes on as he did on Saturday. Wednesday have to defend, an Arsenal throw-in close to the edge of their own penalty area. Dixon waits. Davis is close by. Smith comes to offer another option. He gets the ball. Back to Dixon. Davis available. First time cross. No. Slips it to his lefty Jensen. Jensen let the ball run far too far. Still keeps possession though. Gives it to Winterburn. Winterburn looks up. Flicks it wide. Hooked in by Ian Wright. Smith on the far post. Tries to guide the header goalwards. Instead guides it behind. It's a goal kick.
Well, the substitution of Hyde. He's a tenacious little player. I know he's a man that they think has a great future at Hillsborough. But it's still no change in tactic, I don't think. It's going to be just transfer one player for another.
Arsenal still looking good for this unique double, winning the League Cup and the FA Cup in the same season. And George Graham poised to become only the 3rd man in history to win the League and FA Cup as a player and as a manager. Joe Mercer did it first. Kenny Dalglish followed him. Arsenal with a throw-in deep inside their own half. We played 18 minutes of the second half. It's still Arsenal 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Ian Wright's goal after 33 minutes. The decisive strike. Perhaps the only strike of this FA Cup final replay. Remember, we only had 1 goal 3 years ago. It went to Lee Martin of Manchester United. But Wednesday come forward. Now they thought they won a corner again. But it's all fizzling out at the moment for Sheffield Wednesday.
I suppose Trevor Francis must be thinking to himself, well, it's, while the scoreline stays like this, they're always in with a chance, and they have got the players who can do something. They're looking for a bit of inspiration from somewhere as much as anything else. But Arsenal are closing them down all the time. That is the problem that they have.
Seaman's goal kick. Hit towards the near side. Good header on by Campbell. Smith has it. Tries to play it back to Campbell, but Sheron's in there. Gives it to Palmer. Played down the left side. Hurst was pushed over by Linnigan. No, it's only a throw-in. Taken quickly by Hart. Hurst is down injured. He's holding his back. Waddle has the ball now. A few yards inside the Arsenal half. Hits it into the back of Campbell. Goes out of play. It's a throw-in. Hurst is off the pitch now receiving treatment. Wednesday down to 10 men. Waddle plays the ball forward but beyond Bright. And Seaman has it deep inside his own penalty area and plays it down the far side. Now Merson. 20 minutes gone since half-time. 1-0 to Arsenal. Oh, awful pass forward by Merson. Do you think this is as good a game as Saturday's? Better? Worse? What do you think, Jimmy?
At this stage, I find it interesting in the respect that I'm waiting for really, I'm expecting Wednesday to do something. And at this moment, I would think Trevor Francis is a little bit perplexed why his players can't free themselves.
Waddle forward to Bright, takes it on his chest inside the penalty area. There's no support there. He turns well low and he plays the cross in. It rebounds off the defender and goes behind for a corner. Wednesday's 6th corner of the game. 21 minutes gone in the second half. Hurst has received the necessary treatment. He goes back onto the pitch. He's not going to reach the penalty area. The corner's taken quickly. Waddle has it, having laid it short to Worthington, and then as Waddle plays it in, it deflects off Campbell and behind, and perhaps that's just as well, because at least David Hurst can now put his aerial threat into the Arsenal penalty area. Waddle to take the corner. Shirt outside his shorts. It looks like something he'd wear in bed at night. Here comes the corner from Waddle. Left-footed, hit very deep. Headed away by Smith. Knocked in by Sheffield Wednesday again. Up and away by Adams. Dropping outside the penalty area. Harks curls it, but straight to a red shirt Winterburn. It's again half cleared. Forward now. Hyde, the substitute, has it. Edge of the penalty area. On his left foot, he shoots. It's blocked by Adams and rebounds away to Arsenal's possession, and Arsenal can counter-attack here. Davis leaves it and taken up by Merson. Wright ready to sprint through to the fence. Oh, it was given to Wright. He tried to give it back to Merson. Instead he found Sheridan, and Wednesday come forward again. And then they give it away. Terribly careless play at times from both sides. Waddle hits it forward far too hurriedly. It's met by Dixon, given back to David Seaman. It's midway through the second half of this FA Cup final replay. Arsenal lead Sheffield Wednesday by 1-0. Mike Ingham.
Well, you're with us on Radio 5. Let me tell you that straight after this match, the play Annie on My Mind, which should have started around now at 9:30, will follow. Straight after the cup final, we'll have a full sports bulletin at 11 o'clock. A bit more pressure from Sheffield Wednesday in the last 5 or 6 minutes, but Arsenal still leading. Ian Wright's goal in the first half, and the ball is with Davis down this near side. Arsenal's right, poor ball in from Davis, easily gathered in by Chris Woods, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. And really, I'm struggling to think of a single clear-cut chance created by Sheffield Wednesday so far in this final. That's why Arsenal lead. Hurst, though, now for Wednesday. Plays the ball down the right to John Harks. Harks ball in. Bright went with a flick header. Waddle drives it in and scores for Sheffield Wednesday. Chris Waddle down the left-hand side. The footballer of the year. Equalises for Sheffield Wednesday with a little matter of 20 minutes to go at Wembley. Chris Waddle, embraced by the entire side, gets Trevor Francis back in business. It's Arsenal 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, and Chris Waddle makes this cup final very, very interesting.
Well, I was just saying, I think Trevor Francis would be a bit perplexed why his team could not create a chance. And suddenly they create one, and the ball's in the back of the net. But it was a good run down the right-hand side by Harks. He said they've got the change over there. What has happened is Harks has now moved to the right. He was the man who created it down the right-hand side, and I thought for a minute Bright was going to get the first cross. But it squirted beyond them, straight out to Waddle on the left-hand side, and he struck it, and Dixon was running with him. Whether he got a slight deflection is hard to say, but Seaman was left stranded, and the ball's in the back of the net.
Well, Harks and Waddle have very definitely changed wings, and it was Harks down the right, the ball came in, Bright went with a flicked header, and Waddle, it wasn't the cleanest of strikes left-footed from Waddle, but it certainly did get a little deflection from Lee Dixon before it beat David Seaman. So, despite all of their pressure, Arsenal now find themselves at 1-1 in the cup final replay, just like it was last Saturday. We'll hear from Brian Marwood in a moment. Chris Waddle equalises for Sheffield Wednesday. And the ball is with Alan Smith now on the edge of the Wednesday penalty area. And Wednesday suddenly have grown. Hurst brings the ball down on the halfway line, tries to go past Adams, and he was brought down. And it's going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. We have almost become resigned in this game to Arsenal going on to complete the formality of 2 cup final wins. They were so much in control here with Ian Wright's goal, but Waddle now has changed the whole complexion of this cup final, interestingly scoring down the left-hand side. Wednesday now with Bright. Bright can't get hold of it. Arsenal give it away. Davis makes a mistake. Sheridan holds it for Sheffield Wednesday. Centre of the field, chip forward, looking for Hurst. Linnigan hasn't got it away, and Bright hits the post. Mark Bright has hit the bottom of the post, and Arsenal are at 6s and 7s. It's going to be a goal kick to them.
It should have been 2-1. It should have been 2-1. The ball was knocked into the box there, and what happened was Linnigan went for it, and he was put under pressure by Hurst, who jumped with him, and the ball dropped down to Bright, and it could have been no more than 8 yards out, centre of the goal, Seaman in front of him, and he struck the ball, and it's hit the right-hand post, and it hit the outside of the right-hand post. That was a great chance.
Well, as Alan Green has been so rightly saying, not a great cup final by any stretch of the imagination. It's been very unpleasant at times, but it is exciting now at 1-1. Let's hope all the Sheffield supporters manage to get here eventually after their horrendous journey down the M1. They'll be pleased they made it now for Waddle's equaliser. Sheffield Wednesday really pumped up, and that's a good ball by Sheridan now across the field to Roland Nielsen. Nielsen now comes in field and then plays it wide. Harks playing down that right-hand side now, just giving Arsenal something slightly different to think about. A long ball, though, now from the back from Arsenal. Warhurst is there against Ian Wright, and he hasn't got it away. Wright has got to throw it. Done well there, Ian Wright. And he's going to leave this so that he can get inside the penalty area. Ian Wright will leave the ball for Nigel Winterburn. We have 17 minutes to go in the cup final replay. It's 1-1 now. Merson, down the Arsenal left, wins another throw-in. Sheffield Wednesday's first real opportunity of the game, and they've equalised through Waddle. Arsenal now with Merson inside the area. The ball in is away by Warhurst. Not very far. Jensen tried to get hold of it on the edge of the area, and then eventually that must be offside. And at last we can hear from Brian Marwood. Brian.
Sheffield Wednesday certainly a transformed side. It's amazing, when you look at sort of making little changes and tactical switches. Chris Waddle has now come over and playing against Lee Dixon, which has stopped Lee Dixon getting forward, which was, majority of Arsenal's best moves came from Lee getting forward first half. That has been combated now with Chris Waddle coming over, and Lee Dixon has been exposed because Kevin Campbell is not doing the job that Paul Merson was doing in helping Nigel Winterburn on the left-hand side first half.
Makes you wonder perhaps why they didn't do it slightly earlier, Jimmy, putting Waddle across against Dixon.
I said yesterday about putting Worthington forward and putting Harks back. I think they had to do something a bit different down this side. I felt it's just stood out. I felt they needed a left-footed player down this side, not only to check Dixon, but to try and get some service to the front players.
And Dixon, who spent so much of the first half inside the Wednesday half, is back inside his own half now defending. He's had a great game out there today, but now he's being put under pressure by Waddle, and the ball is out of play down the near side for a Sheffield and Arsenal throw-in. Richie Barker wants that ball back quickly because he senses that Sheffield Wednesday fancy this now, with a throw, though, for Arsenal. Lee Dixon near side, the right. The cup final still no nearer a conclusion. Norwich City still waiting to find out if they're going to be in Europe. The dreaded penalties looming if we can't sort it out in extra time if we need it. It's a free kick to Arsenal. Down the near side, halfway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. The right-hand side of the field. They're going to get as many players forward as they can. Everybody apart from Nigel Winterburn. The free kick will be taken by Lee Dixon. 1-1. 15 minutes to go. Right-footed free kick. And the flag's gone up for offside over on the far side, much to the relief of Chris Woods and those Sheffield Wednesday defenders. It's going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. And suddenly all the thoughts about the missing centre-backs. We've been talking about the problems at the back. No Shirtliff, no Anderson, no Pearson. It meant that Warhurst didn't have the option of going up front. He's had to play at the back tonight. There's no one else. It meant that Palmer had to come out of midfield. It's unbalanced Sheffield Wednesday, but they've come back into this game now with a Waddle equaliser. They're inside the Arsenal half. Adams hasn't got that clear. He was fouled by David Hurst, and it's a free kick for Arsenal.
There was almost a chance there, though, at the other end. Off free kicks, corners, always a threat, Arsenal. You get the big fellas forward, Adams and Linnigan. You've got Smith up there. That's always one thing that will cause Sheffield Wednesday a bit of anxiety.
Free kick is taken by David Seaman for Arsenal. Palmer's having problems in the area. It's come out of that area now. Campbell clips it back in again. Sheffield Wednesday have given a corner away. A corner kick to Arsenal. Near side, the right. Paul Davis to take it. 1-1, and we're playing the last 15 minutes now of this FA Cup final replay. Davis is going to take this corner with his left foot. It's a poor one, though. It had no distance at all. It was headed away at the near post by Sheffield Wednesday, and Waddle lets that go out of play for a throw-in. And just to remind you that Annie On My Mind, the play, comes straight after this FA Cup final, though who knows when that's going to be, because we only have another 13 minutes of normal time. We may then have 30 minutes of extra time. Now Sheffield Wednesday at 1-1 with Hyde, the substitute, lays it neatly down the left-hand side for the man who scored the equaliser, Waddle. Waddle hugging the touchline. Campbell's coming back to try and hold him up. Waddle, though, up towards the edge of the area. Harkes has come across from the right to the left-hand side. Played forward by Waddle. Oh, and Hyde slips as he tries to take that on the chest. Arsenal haven't got it away yet, though. And in the end, they got a goal kick out of it after that challenge on Lee Dixon.
Hyde has had a little bit of zip into that midfield. He's a sharp little player. He gets his tackles in. He did well there, covered a lot of ground. It was a pity he slipped on the edge of the box when the ball was chipped forward by Waddle. If he could have chested that down, there could have been a bit of problem for Arsenal. But when he lost it, he chased back and got his tackle in. That's just what Wednesday need at this moment.
Well, there's been so much talk about this being the déjà vu Cup final after the League Cup final. This is very definitely a déjà vu FA Cup final. The replay's going just like it did on Saturday, with Ian Wright scoring first for Arsenal. The only difference tonight is that it's Chris Waddle who's equalised and not David Hurst. 1-1, just like it was on Saturday. Long ball downfield from Chris Woods, the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. It's back inside the centre circle, but Hyde is working hard for Sheffield Wednesday. Alan Smith very obviously pushes him over, and then I think he kicked the ball away as well. He used his hand rather than kicking it away, and the referee's not going to tolerate that. Alan Smith, such a gentleman, is going to get a yellow card, though, for ungentlemanly conduct. Earlier, Mark Bright and Paul Davis also got yellow cards. So the yellow card to Alan Smith is going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday, just inside the Arsenal half. They just tap it off between them. Sheridan back to Nielsen. Nielsen now pumps down that right-hand side. Good challenge coming in, though, this time from Alan Smith. And Arsenal now look to their left-back, Winterburn, to get it away for them. But he hasn't found Merson. Wednesday seeing much more of it in midfield. Busy player now, Hyde. Hyde for Hurst, and now Hurst for Carlton Palmer, who is coming much more inside the Arsenal half. Worthington now tries to find Bright, and Bright never looked likely to get on the end of that one. And Arsenal once more trying to play it out from the back. Merson's drifted into midfield. Davis on the halfway line for Arsenal. 1-1 in the cup final replay. And now given away by Kevin Campbell. That's a Sheffield Wednesday throw.
Oh, listen, I can never remember seeing Smith get a caution before. I don't know this is his first. I don't presume it is, but I can never remember him, showing dissent or anything like that before.
Let's just bring Brian Marwood. Played with Alan Smith many times. Can you remember him getting a yellow card?
No, I think it's actually, I'm not sure if the record books will show this, but I'm sure it's the first time he's ever been booked in his career.
Amazing. Alan Smith, who made the goal for Ian Wright, has been booked in the FA Cup final of all places, and very soon we may be having David O'Leary coming into this game. I can see him loosening up down there, going through the motions. So we think that Alan Smith, who up until tonight, like Gary Lineker, his good friend from Leicester City days, had never been booked in a game. We think that's his first yellow card. It's going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday, drawing 1-1 now with 10 minutes to go. Woods takes it. It comes down the left-hand side, headed in field by Hurst, who was off balance, and Arsenal clear. Still inside their half, though. Dixon tries to head the ball over the halfway line. Smith is out-jumped by Palmer, and when it comes down, Bright touches it off to Chris Waddle. Waddle now forward, looking for the American Harkes. Tremendous challenge by Winterburn, though, on John Harkes. Still Wednesday, and not this time, though. Sheridan can't link up with Waddle, and it's Andy Linnigan thrusting it out of the penalty area. Wednesday, though, this time have to settle for an Arsenal throw, but much, much better following that equaliser from Chris Waddle. Arsenal's throw-in to be taken by Lee Dixon, very much the man of the first half for Arsenal, but being forced back now by this change of tactic, which sees Chris Waddle just talking, I see, to Trevor Francis down there, getting a few more instructions, looking to the bench. It's Seaman, the Arsenal goalkeeper, coming out of the area. We think there's going to be an Arsenal change in a moment. Long ball downfield. Carlton Palmer, the captain tonight, heads it away for Sheffield Wednesday. They can't control it on the halfway line, though. Linnigan chips it some 20 yards up towards Campbell, who's desperately trying to get hold of the ball. It's very cluttered up in midfield. Davis is trying to find some space for himself. But Sheffield Wednesday come in once more. Harkes, though, could get Caught in possession. No, Winterburn hasn't made the challenge. Hawks plays it down the centre. Bright goes forward, but his first touch let him down. And Tony Adams just clips it back to goalkeeper Seaman, who finds touch over on the far side. And now a nostalgic moment. David O'Leary, number 22, is going to come on for Ian Wright. Wright hasn't finished the course, just like last Saturday. David O'Leary's final game for Arsenal. The end of 20 years, over 700 appearances. And he ends in the FA Cup final replay here at Wembley. O'Leary goes into the back four immediately because Sheffield Wednesday are coming forward. Warhurst has run into trouble, though. Now, what are Arsenal going to do now without Ian Wright? Presumably Campbell and Smith up front, but Dixon at the moment's on the ball down the right. Infield for Davis. At the moment, Linnigan seems to have gone to right back. Jensen now for Arsenal. Slides it forward, a chance for Campbell. In comes Merson. Woods has spilt it and then comes back to make the save eventually as the ball seemed to be creeping over the line. Chris Woods comes back. He, on this greasy surface, couldn't hold that strike from Paul Merson. Nearly drama in the cup final. Wednesday survive and now come down the left-hand side. Dixon looks to have pushed forward. Linnigan playing at right back. O'Leary alongside Adams on the back four. There's no Ian Wright. He's not going to equal Ian Rush's cup final record of 5 goals. Hurst now for Sheffield Wednesday, beaten to the ball by Jensen. And away by Arsenal. 1-1 with 7 minutes to go of normal time. The ball is with Davis, commanding figure in midfield, puts his foot on the ball. O'Leary gets his first touch, and back again it goes to Davis. Two of the longest serving players in the side, Davis and O'Leary. The ball now to the far side for Adams. Adams goes into the Sheffield Wednesday half. Adams tries to find Winterburn down the left. He has done. Ball comes in from Winterburn. Smith goes towards the near post. And Palmer tidies up at full stretch for Sheffield Wednesday. But Arsenal have suddenly come back into this now, following that Waddle equaliser which stunned them. Winterburn has an Arsenal throw-in. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Far side. This is the Arsenal left. All their supporters behind Woods' goal. In comes the throw. And in comes Dixon and completely missed kicks. There was a half a chance for Lee Dixon. The ball comes out of the area and Waddle brings it clear for Sheffield Wednesday. Davis coming back now to shadow Waddle. Waddle still with the possession, left-footed now. Hurst lets it go through his legs. Sheridan goes forward. Seaman makes the save. And Winterburn stabs it away. That was great play by Sheffield Wednesday. There's an injury. They'll be caught offside if they're not careful. Worthington's ball into the near post. And it's cleared away by Jensen for a throw-in. The injury is to John Sheridan. And they can treat him now before this corner.
Well, it has really pepped up in the last 10 or 15 minutes, this match. Since the equaliser, it really has. Bright's had a great chance for Wednesday. There's been 2 chances for Arsenal at the other end. I thought the one...
Chris Waddle, their man of the moment, is going to take it. We're all ready for it. 4 minutes to go. Extra time and then possibly penalties looming. Waddle with the corner. Worthington offers himself for a short one. He gives it to Worthington. Worthington now perhaps back to Waddle, or will he try and get this one in with his left foot? It's a cross from Worthington, and the flick header comes in the end from David Hurst. It's wide, and it's a corner. Got an Arsenal deflection. So Sheffield Wednesday win another corner down the right-hand side. Harkes is the nearest to the ball, but Waddle's going to go across there as well, I think, down the Sheffield Wednesday right. A John Harkes corner, or will he leave it for the precision of Chris Waddle? He will. Sheffield Wednesday supporters having so many problems getting here. The M1 was blocked. This game seemed to be blocked as well, with Arsenal taking control. But now it's 1-1 and anything could happen. A Chris Waddle corner down the right into the last 4 or 5 minutes to the far post. Seaman gets a fist to it. Just outside the area, the ball bounces. Palmer tries to head it back in again. Palmer scoops it forward. And taking responsibility for Arsenal is the fullback Nigel Winterburn, who effectively in the end finds touch. Interesting how much time now Palmer is spending inside the Arsenal half. Throw into Sheffield Wednesday. Mark Bright on the ball. Square pass, poor pass though to try and find Hyde. And away by David O'Leary. Just 3 minutes left of normal time. Extra time looming yet again, just like it did on Saturday. Arsenal without Ian Wright now. And remember, if it does go to penalties, there'll be no Ian Wright on the pitch to take a penalty for them. As we now face just another 3 minutes here. Chris Waddle's equaliser for Sheffield Wednesday when it was beginning to look a lost cause. But as Jimmy Armfield said, despite all the pressure coming in from Arsenal, Trevor Francis and Richie Barker would not have given up hope because of that 1-0 scoreline. Never enough. Arsenal now with their captain Adams away from the area into the centre circle. And that was a foul on Sheridan by Alan Smith. And the free kick has been taken by Sheffield Wednesday, not from the right spot, but the referee lets the game continue with Nigel Worthington down the left for Sheffield Wednesday. Gives it to Chris Waddle to try and tease and take over. Waddle now looks for Worthington to make the run. I don't think he's going to get there, is he? Pulls it back to the near post. Did very well, the Northern Ireland international. And because of that, Wednesday still pressed down the right with John Harkes. Harkes back to Nielsen, 30 yards out. Little shimmy from Nielsen. Looks for Hyde in the area. Seaman falls at Hyde's feet and falls on the ball.
Suddenly Wednesday have found another gear from somewhere. Lovely little ball there from Waddle between two defenders for Worthington to pull back, but Arsenal got it away. And then we've got Nielsen coming forward. Didn't seen too much of that. Almost on the edge of Arsenal's box. He just threaded it through. It was just overhit for Hyde.
2 minutes less now to go in the cup final. We will have, if it stays like this, 30 extra minutes. Annie on my mind, fans, I'm sorry, you'll just have to wait a little longer. On Radio 5, this is the cup final. Norwich City supporters once more biting the fingernails, wondering whether they'll be in Europe next season for the first time. For that to happen, Arsenal have to win the cup. They have to make it a double. Sheffield Wednesday, though, looking strong now with that equaliser from Waddle. The ball is back inside the Arsenal half, and just for a moment it almost looks like the players now are going to settle back and settle for extra time and not take any risks now in the last minute. They just seem to be taking stock. Throw in for Arsenal. Smith and Campbell almost get in each other's way. Warhurst nips in for Sheffield Wednesday. Finds Harkes inside the centre circle. Harkes so instrumental in that goal from Waddle. Wednesday lose their way. Linnigan across the field. That was never going to find Merson. In comes Nielsen. Finds David Hurst, who runs into David O'Leary. And O'Leary once more for Arsenal. Accurately for Davis. Lovely play by Arsenal. Dixon comes down the right-hand side now. Waddle's going to try and come back against Dixon. But this is good pace by Lee Dixon, and then he just gets a little bit carried away as he plays a very quick ball to the far post. Nobody was up there for him, and it's gone well wide, and it's going to be a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
Really great run that by. At this stage of a match, 88 minutes gone. Fullback who's worked overtime, and there he was, Dixon again. Another 50-yard run forward. Waddle chased after him, and Waddle's no slouch, and he couldn't catch him. He ran him out of the game.
Jimmy's watch has stopped because we've played 90 now. 90 minutes. We now face extra time. Sheffield Wednesday are playing added time here with Arsenal in the cup final. Arsenal, one last chance perhaps to settle it without extra time. Paul Davis, halfway inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. A ball to the far side, which falls kindly for Winterburn. Winterburn steams in field. Wednesday got enough players back, though, to get this away surely. And they'll look to Carlton Palmer, their captain on the night, to get it up to the halfway line. There's a little bit more space now. Players starting to get tired. Hurst is on the ball for Sheffield Wednesday. Goes past David O'Leary. Good run here from Hurst into the area. Shot comes in and hits the side netting. Seaman covers the shot as well. I think he realised that was just going wide. And that's the first real strong flourish we've had from David Hurst. Right on time here. We played 45 seconds of added time. It's 1-1.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It is, you're right. That was the first time we've really seen him pick the ball up and run at the central defenders and go past them. You know, prior to his injury, he was doing it such a lot. So it looks as though he's got a bit of confidence, you know, coming back into his game. And that really was a driving run. Bit of a warning there for Linnigan and Adams and O'Leary.
And now a nice interception by Sheridan. Plays it down the centre looking for Bright, but Linnigan's covering from Arsenal's point of view. And at least the Sheffield Wednesday supporters who arrive late are going to get a bonus here tonight of extra time. As the crowd roar for Merson from the Arsenal point of view to go forward. Warhurst is coming across, but they haven't got it away. Merson slides it forward. Can Campbell get there? No, because Palmer is quick on the edge of the area. But Campbell gets it away from Palmer. Now can Campbell set it up for Smith? No, but he might have won a corner. He has. And how much more time is Kieran Barrett going to allow? We played nearly 2 minutes of added time. It's a corner kick to Arsenal. Paul Merson to take it down the left-hand side. This must be the last chance now of settling this game in normal time. Alan Smith and Campbell wait at the near post. Adams and Linnigan have arrived. Dixon says, come on, we haven't got much time. Merson takes the corner, and it's headed away firmly by Warhurst. Still in the area. Davis forward. Wednesday have to be careful. And an overhead clearance for them by David Hurst. Winterburn now lays the ball down the left-hand side. It's not going to fall for Merson, though. But Wednesday are a bit reckless. Campbell in the area. Wednesday have to be careful with their tackles. It's away, but not very far. Davis' shot was smothered by Palmer. And what a good thing, too, because that was going all the way, I think, towards Chris Woods' goal. But the ball is back instead inside the Arsenal half, and David O'Leary, playing like a 20-year-old there, sways around from Mark Bright, and then Linnigan takes over. Ball down the Arsenal right. Alan Smith makes it look very easy down there. It was an awkward ball for Smith to deal with. Dixon now down the line, and that is the final pass in normal time. Once more, we go into extra time. We are 30 minutes away.
Well, we interrupt Mike Ingham, who's still talking to listeners in this country. We'll be back for the early stages of extra time. I'm afraid we can't bring you the whole of extra time because we've got to leave the Sports World studio at 21 hours. That's in about 3 or 4 minutes' time for News Hour.